Good morning, friends. Welcome to a vlog. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. I'm MC. If you're new here, it's nice to meet you. Today, we are going to do a vlog where I am going to discover how much I normally knit in a day. I just hit myself in the face. No one saw that. We are going to figure out how much I knit in a day. I am working on my Flirt Skirt Light by Claire Jackson of Perfectly Knotted. This is in my colorway, Shimmy Shimmy Rock, from my big collection. It's not too bad color showing up on the camera. And basically what we're going to do is a normal day of knitting for me. I'm not trying to challenge myself. I'm not trying to do anything extra. I'm just going to make note of every time I knit today because I have some ideas for the future and I need a baseline. We're collecting data. We're doing some research. One of my favorite things. So today, right now, it is 10:03 a.m. Got a little bit of a late start today. In general, this is not the start of my day. I got a little bit of a late start. Then I had my coffee. I did some reading with my coffee. Sometimes in the morning, I will knit with my coffee and like watch something on YouTube or watch a TV show or something. I like to give myself that little bit while I'm having my coffee of peace before the day starts. But today I was reading my book and I didn't want to knit while I was reading. I'm very close to the end. I want to get through it. So I'm sorry. Also, if you can hear, Shandy is destroying a pair of socks next to me. Don't worry. They already had a hole in them. And so now they are hers. They are her toy. She loves socks. So sometimes I knit in the mornings with my coffee. Sometimes I don't. We're just going for data collection on an average day. So that's what we're doing today. I did not knit in the morning. I have some video editing to do this morning. So I'm gonna work on that now and do some knitting while I edit because I can do that. Then I'm going to head to the gym. I'm already dressed and ready for that because I don't like having to change multiple times a day. And then after that, I have some other admin-y tasks to do. I might be able to get a little bit of knitting done during that. And then I do have some book work to do. So I will be kind of taking a break from vlogging, from knitting and stuff while I'm doing some book work, but I will then catch up with you later in the afternoon. So it's going to be a busy day of work and yeah, here we go. I'm going to start a timer when I start knitting, but I'm also going to count where I am right now stitches wise so that I can calculate approximately how many stitches I did. See you at our next check-in. Well, perfect timing. We just hit an hour. We just hit an hour of me working on this video and knitting, and we didn't start that great. I messed up, and on one of my increase rounds, I forgot to increase. I luckily didn't get that far before I realized it, but I did spend some of that hour tinking back. And also, I was editing at the same time, so this wasn't really an hour of active knitting. I was doing other things as well, but this particular video wasn't that bad to edit. So I did get a decent amount of knitting in. And so here's the deal. This marker here, this little pretzel made by my friend Wendy of Warm Stripes, is where I was when I filmed my last podcast episode a few days ago. So I've done, I think, basically like 2 increased repeats since then. This yellow removable stitch marker is what I just put on because it was the closest one to me of where I started today. So I have done, I thought I only did 3 rounds. I am on my 4th round, which kind of stinks. I'm on my 4th round. I haven't even finished it. I'm like a third of the way through my 4th round. So that's okay. I would love to try to finish 2 increase repeats today to get through 2 of them. I don't know if that's going to happen, but for right now, I need to go get ready for the gym. It is 11:13 and I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to have a snack. I'm going to go to the gym, and then I'm going to come back and get a little freshened up before jumping back into work for the afternoon, because I am going to be gross. I always finish my gym sessions with a sit in the sauna, and then so I'm going to be disgusting when I get home later. And I only have this much yarn left, so I haven't weighed it or anything, but around this time is usually when I like to start winding up my next ball of yarn, because when it gets a little bit smaller than this, I don't know, maybe soon. Maybe I'll weigh this and see, make a decision. I usually, when I have like 10 to 15 grams left, sometimes even up to 20 grams, depending on what I'm working on, I like to start helically knitting my next skein in. So we're going to wind that up. I'm going to be back probably in like 2 hours because, like I said, snack, gym, freshening. I'll probably eat some lunch, maybe 2.5 hours actually. And then we will join back up for work in the afternoon, because I am very lucky and I have the luxury of being able to go to the gym in the afternoon, midday, I guess, when not a lot of people are there. And I would like to take advantage of it. So I work a little later than I would like to balance that out, because I really like to not have to go to the gym when everyone else is going when they get out of work. Anyway, let's stop yammering and go get things done. Okay, we are back and we have done nothing. It is currently 1:49, so it is 10 of 2. I don't even remember what time it was the last time I filmed an update. Nothing has happened. I went to the gym and that's it. I took a little time. It took a little longer than I anticipated. I talked to some friends on Polo, and this is where we are. So thank you, Shandy. Thank you. I feel like I'm gonna get some questions about this shirt. I love it so much, but I got this at a brewery / restaurant in Pennsylvania, and I got the last one they had. I know that it was from a fundraiser that they did, and they said they had one left, and I got it. So I'm sorry. It is fantastic though. I desperately need to eat some lunch, and I have a bunch of more desk work stuff to do. So here's the plan. I'm gonna feed myself because my tummy's kind of hurting, and I know I need more food in it, even though it's hurting, you know? So I'm gonna get myself some food, and then I'm gonna sit down and do a little bit more at my computer. I will film a little bit more for you. I will let you know when I'm knitting again, but you know, this is real life. This is what I knit in a day. So if you were ever wondering, I mean, obviously there are going to be days where I knit more. You know, I'll knit more on a weekend, potentially. I will have like different breaks, different things that I'm working on. Some things need my hands a lot. Some things don't, and I can get some knitting done. So this is where we're at. And the whole point of this for me was to film a baseline for myself. So this is a typical day. As hard as I try to make a plan, something always goes a little bit awry. So I need to feed myself. I'll see you soon. One would think that I might set up this camera and leave it here so I'm not changing the angle slightly every single clip, but you know, why would I do that? Anyway, we have been fed. My tummy still feels funny, but a little bit better. I did a tiny bit of work and wound up my second skein. I probably should have showed you a clip of that by now. So second ball wound up, so excited. And we knit for a tiny bit. I had a little bit of time. I was doing some smaller tasks that I didn't need my hands as much for. So we are at, I didn't think about like doing laps, whatever. So we're at 121. Yeah, so far 1 hour and 21 minutes, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on row 5. I'm on row 5. I was on row 4 before. This is slow. But you know what? We're not going to measure by rows, right? I mean, yes, seeing how things grow is important, but at the end of this, we're going to do the math to figure out all my stitches. And that's where we're really going to learn some things. So what's going to happen now is I have some work to do. I have to buckle down. Oh, I forgot to tell you, it is 2:54 currently, and I got to get some work done. I feel like you're probably like, MC, do you work? I have been working, I swear, but I need to do some like buckle down don't talk to you for a little bit, work for a couple of hours. So it's basically, I'm going to be starting at 3 o'clock. I am going to probably check in with you around 6, maybe, I'll say. I will be able, with some of the work that I'm doing, I will be able to knit a little bit. I'm hoping that out of that 3 hours, I can maybe get an hour of knitting done. Maybe 45 minutes of like being able to knit when I don't need my hands as much. So we will see how this goes, and I'll check in with you around dinner time. And then Joe and I might watch a movie tonight or some TV or something, so I'm sure some more knitting will be done around then. I'm gonna guess that I end up with around 3 hours of knitting time total throughout the day. I really wish that I had done the lap thing on my timer so that I could see how I'm really breaking it down. Like the next hour at least of my knitting, like total time, is probably going to be broken down into like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, as I have like littler tasks that I can do. Anyway, also I'm going to start helically knitting this second ball in, and I am not going to follow the helical knitting rules. Not really rules, but basically like what happens when you're helically knitting is that you're kind of changing how the rows work a little bit. So basically what might end up happening is that sometimes I might have like on one of my increase rounds, I might have like, it happens on row 8 for like most of the stitches or most of the increases, but it happens on row 7 for some of them, just because of like how things work. I don't know how to explain it really well right now. My brain is not in a place where it can explain how this works at the moment. I am just going to go, and I'm going to increase when I increase, and we're just going to let it happen. I don't think it's going to, if I'm one row different, it's not going to affect things. So if you are a big helical knitter and you were wondering if I'm going to pay attention, absolutely not. So I'll see you later. Bye. It is a bit later than I anticipated. It is currently 6:30 on the dot, so that's convenient. If you can hear Shandy, Joe just got home and she's very excited. She's a little worked up, so sorry, she's wandering around. I am at 2 hours and 16 minutes. So I think I did like just shy of an hour's worth of knitting since the last time I saw you. It was like 55 minutes or something like that. I have joined my second ball of yarn, so I am helically knitting, and basically what I was trying to say before, you could tell I was like fading a little bit and not feeling my best. But basically when you're helically knitting, because you're slipping stitches as you do the helical knit, at one point you're going to slip stitches over where there is an increase or a decrease, whatever you're doing. And so therefore now, instead of 8 rows in between, I would end up with 7 rows in between because I've slipped stitches, so it looks like there is 7 rows, or 2 rows or 3 rows, whatever your numbers are, it's going to look like there's one less in the spots that you have slipped. I'm just gonna ignore that, and I'm gonna say it's fine. 1 row is not going to make or break this, the way that these increases look. and like eventually it's gonna even out and it's gonna be okay. At least that's what I'm hoping, but I'm sure it's gonna be fine. It's a flowy skirt. No one's gonna notice if the increase rate is a little bit different. Fingers crossed. I have done, oh my gosh, that's so funny. I literally just stopped like at the stitch where my marker is. So I have done 10 rounds today. So I did pass another increase round, but I am not too far along. So we're getting there. We're getting there. The true test will be when I do the math for my stitches. So I don't know if I will talk to you again tonight. As you can see, it is dark out. The lighting's not great. I decided to try and give you a slightly different view than sitting at my desk all day long. We're probably gonna head downstairs, have some dinner, hang out for a bit. I'm sure I'll do some more knitting down there. I will film a little bit of it, and then maybe I will do the math tomorrow. Maybe just really quick, I will film a little check-in. Sorry for her walking. Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll film a little check-in, because honestly, I can imagine that by the end of the night, I'm probably just not gonna want to talk to you. Sorry. So, 10 rounds done, 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think we're on track for my guess of 3 hours of knitting today. Let's see where we go.
But I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before the new. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I like to be away in my patience. Stay up, I feel so outdated. How can we look the other way? Sun is out, but the sky
Good morning and welcome back to my desk again at a very slightly different angle. I did not actually do quite as much knitting last night as I had hoped or wanted or whatever. That's okay. I ended up with about, where is it? It's over here. About 1.5 inches of knitting done yesterday over the course of the day. I did not get my 2 full repeats done like I had wanted to. I got a little bit more than 1 done, which honestly makes sense because previously I had been doing about 1 repeat a day, and I was also working on some other things at the same time, but I recently finished those, and so now I have a little bit more time to devote to just this, since yesterday I was only working on this, so it makes sense that I was doing a little bit more than 1 repeat in the day. Plus the repeats are getting more and more stitches every single time, so it makes sense. It makes sense that I didn't quite get to where I wanted to, but let's talk about time I spent and then also stitches. So I ended up doing a grand total of 2 hours, let me have my face, 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 35 seconds. of knitting over the course of the day. I was just shy of my 3 hours that I estimated. So I think it was pretty close. And I think I probably would have gotten to 3 hours, maybe even 3 hours and 15 minutes, if I hadn't been feeling a little funny last night. I don't know what was going on. I had some stomach upset, and I'm feeling fine now. I just needed a bland dinner and a good night's sleep, I guess. So after I spoke to you last, we had dinner, watched some TV, and hung out together. I ended up knitting a little bit while we were watching some TV. And then I said, you know what? I'm tired. I just want to take a shower, get ready for bed, and curl up with my book. So I did that. I just decided I was done with knitting for the day. And I think all in all, it ended up being a pretty average day. You know, maybe on a Friday or Saturday, normally, like, we end up staying up a little bit later. We watch a movie and stuff, so maybe I would be knitting through that, and I would get some more knitting done. It's rare that we end up watching a movie during the week, but we do sometimes, and so then I'll end up with like a little bit more knitting. But I think it ended up being a really good average day. It wasn't exciting. I didn't go anywhere. I just did some work, but that's what we wanted, was a baseline. Now, the really important information. Sure, we can say that I did about 1.5 inches of progress, but that doesn't really mean anything, because 1.5 inches of 10 inches wide or 1.5 inches of 40 inches wide is very different, right? So I ended up doing a total of 3,960 stitches. Just shy of 4,000 stitches. So if I had done a few more minutes of knitting, I would have gotten to 4,000 stitches, but that's okay. So I'm not going to do the math of how many stitches I knit in a minute. I don't really care that much to get that specific, but I just wanted to see what an average run-of-the-mill day was like for me, and then use that data for potential videos in the future. So thanks for coming along with me on this. If you want to know how I'm going to use this information in a future video, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss it, and go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know how much you knit in a day. Also, remember, this is not to like flaunt anything or whatever. I work from home. I can carry my knitting with me everywhere. I understand that there are a lot of people out there that are lucky if they manage to knit 10 minutes in a day, but this is also part of my job. So don't compare yourself to me. This is just what I got. Whatever you got and whatever makes you happy is wonderful. So that being said, take care of you, and I will see you later.